guys, it's Lara. Thank you so much for watching and welcome back to my channel. So I was finally able to create stuff again and to film it for you guys. And here we have what I made yesterday in the afternoon. So I made this light shade with vintage keys on it. It was a very easy project. This is something you can easily accomplish in an afternoon. And if you want to know how I made this light shade, then please keep watching. For this vintage key light shade, I have used a small light shade frame. The diameter was 8 inches, which is 20 centimeters. I also used twine. I picked one that was thinner and one a bit thicker. Another option would be using a chain. And then I prepared several beads, pearl strings, and 2 bags of vintage style keys in different shapes and sizes. I started with the bigger keys. I cut a piece of the thinner twine, pulled it through the key and made a knot just above the key. And then I added a few wooden beads. I tied the twine in a few more places, which allowed me to place the beads in certain distance. I did the same with the other keys. However, I made different variations in terms of how many beads each twine had and how I tied the twine between the beads. Also, the twine wasn't always the exactly same length. Basically, I wanted to achieve random styles and random grouping. Here are a few strings with the bigger keys. This is how they looked like. I cut a few pearl strings to the desired length. Again, they weren't exactly the same length because I was going for the messy and uneven style. Next, I started wrapping the light shade frame in the thicker twine. I always secured the place where I started wrapping the twine around with a bit of hot glue. Occasionally I also added a little bit of the hot glue on a few more places. I felt like this is definitely gonna help the twine to stay in place. Here is what the frame looked like once I was done with one section. Once I was completely done with the wrapping, I tied the end of the twine and I have glued it in place with hot glue, pushing it to the frame with a wooden stick so I wouldn't burn my fingers, which I very often do. As a next step, I started tying the strings with the keys in several places. I always tied them to the frame and I have secured the knot with a little bit of hot glue. As a next step, I glued a few pearl strings to the frame. Next, I counted how many more vintage keys I could tie to the frame in the empty spaces between the things already on the frame. I needed 12 keys. I tied them to the twine just like I did before, but this time I decorated the twine with pearls. And as a last step, I tied these 12 strings with the vintage keys into the spaces between the twines with keys and the pearl strings. And once I finished this step, my vintage key light shade was done. Now the light shade hangs in our second guest room, which my husband, Jack, uses as his home office. It is definitely an original piece that you won't see in every single house. Now, when I was making this light shade, I did not have the right size of the light shade frame at home, so I had to order it, and it came with a second ring that has no elements in the middle. It's just a ring, so I think I'm gonna use it for a future project. But it's possible that you're planning on making a light shade. Maybe you even have the perfect size, so you can use whatever you have at home. It doesn't have to be round. You can also use a square light shade frame. And when it comes to the keys, I did not have any pretty vintage style keys at home, which was a pity because I always like upcycling stuff. So I had to order these. I will look up where I bought these and I will link it down below. But ideally you would have something at home, or maybe your relatives have some vintage keys, so you could turn this into an upcycling project. You could of course use chain instead of the twine, and also if you are not fond of pearls, you could replace them with some organza ribbons. I think that would look pretty too, so there are definitely a few more possibilities. And that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give the video a thumb up, because that really helps the channel, and make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss any further videos. You can also turn on the notifications. So I have linked down below as usual all of my Instagram accounts, my vlogging channel, several videos and playlists that might be interesting for you. I also always write any music that I use in my videos down below, and if I have any discount codes, I also list them in the description box, so that's the place to be apparently. And thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon with further projects, because I'm going to IKEA tomorrow. I'm planning on doing some more home decor, so I'm super excited about that. So thanks again for watching. I love you guys so much, and see you next time. Bye!